Byeon Woo-Seok and Kim Hye-Yoon have become the kind of pairing that exists in the rare space between performance and possibility, the place where chemistry becomes legend, and audiences convince themselves that a story must have outgrown the screen to survive in real life. Their partnership in Lovely Runner sparked an intensity that even the actors themselves didn't seem fully prepared for. It wasn't just a successful drama. It became a global phenomenon built on the quiet, electric tension that plays out when two performers connect with a depth they can't completely disguise. Fans didn't just watch the romance, they felt it. And that sensation has not faded. What makes the case of Byeon Woo-Seok and Kim Hye-Yoon especially intriguing is how organic everything looks. Nothing about their dynamic feels manufactured or forced. The energy between them doesn't follow the standard pattern of co-stars promoting a drama together. Instead, their connection has the tone of two people who somehow understood each other almost instantly, a shared rhythm, a shared vulnerability, a shared comfort that is rare, even among actors who have worked together for months. From the first behind-the-scenes clips released during the drama's promotional period, fans noticed a particular softness in the way Woo-Seok looked at Hye-Yoon, a lightness in how she teased him, a spark that seemed to appear even in rehearsals. Those instinctive micro-moments, the unplanned glances, the smiles that showed up a fraction too early, the lingering eye contact during table reads, all became the foundation of a shipping fire that would grow into one of the strongest Korean drama fan movements in years. The pair's interviews only intensified everything. Rather than deny or dismiss the speculation, Woo-Seok and Hye-Yoon often reacted with a kind of amused shyness that fans found irresistible. He would answer questions with thoughtful pauses, as if carefully choosing words that couldn't be misinterpreted. She would smile with that familiar half-embarrassed charm, the kind that makes people believe she is hiding something sweet. There was no dramatic rejection of the idea of them being close. No sharp boundary. Just warmth, gentle, genuine warmth, and that, more than anything, strengthened fans' belief that something special might exist between them. In several interviews, Woo-Seok described Hye-Yoon as someone who made acting feel natural for him, someone whose emotions he could respond to without thinking. There was honesty in his tone, the kind that can't be faked even in promotional settings. When he talked about scenes they filmed together, he didn't speak like someone reciting scripted comments. He spoke like someone remembering an experience he valued, someone who carried the emotional weight of those scenes even after the cameras stopped rolling. He mentioned that every emotion she showed felt real, a statement that left fans wondering whether the realism came from her acting or from the feelings that passed between them when the world around them went quiet. Hye-Yoon's perspective added another layer. She often said she was moved by his sincerity, by how he threw himself fully into every moment, by how he made her feel safe on set. Those are not words co-stars casually use for each other. Safety is intimate. Sincerity is personal. And in the realm of acting, where trust is essential but connection can be fleeting, the way she spoke about him sounded like she had discovered someone she understood more deeply than she expected. She said that certain emotions that emerged during filming were new to her, a statement fans have dissected endlessly. Was she referring to her craft or something more private? Something more delicate? Something that surprised even her? She didn't elaborate and she didn't have to. The ambiguity became its own fuel. The most iconic moment, the moment fans still quote, edit into videos, and replay in slow motion, was Woo-Seok's now famous "no comment" when asked whether the two of them were dating. It was the type of response that was felt rather than heard. It was not a denial. It was not avoidance. It was something softer, something careful, something that let the rumor breathe instead of suffocating it. No comment is the phrase used when the truth doesn't want to be mishandled. It is the phrase used when the answer, whatever it is, has weight. Fans didn't need more than that. But the fascination surrounding this pair goes even deeper than interviews. On set, multiple actors commented on their natural closeness. One co-star even joked that they should just date because the way they looked at each other during scenes didn't feel like acting. This wasn't a rumor created by fans. It was a sentiment emerging from people who witness them daily. And while comments like this can be playful, they often stem from genuine observation. People on set can recognize when chemistry isn't just professional, when two actors respond to each other with a tenderness that feels lived in. Then there were the behind-the-scenes videos, subtle but telling. Woo-Seok often checked on Hye-Yoon during breaks, making sure she was warm enough, offering her water, adjusting his pace so she didn't slip during snowy scenes, and laughing at even her smallest jokes like they were private moments only they understood. Those are actions of familiarity. Those are gestures of someone who cares beyond the script. Hye-Yoon, on the other hand, showed her affection in ways that were quieter but deeply perceptive. She would watch him while he spoke, listening with a focus that actors don't usually show during casual promotional clips. She remembered small things he mentioned. She teased him gently, not with the boldness of someone performing for the camera, but with the ease of someone who felt comfortable in his presence. If Woo-Seok's fondness was expressed in actions, hers was expressed in attention, the kind of attention that reveals whose voice makes your mind go still. Fans couldn't help noticing that the two of them often mirrored each other. Matching gestures, synchronized reactions, little smiles that appeared at the same time. Mirroring is one of the strongest subconscious indicators of rapport and connection. And in their case, it was too frequent to ignore. But perhaps the most compelling element is what they haven't said. Neither of them has ever firmly shut down the idea of dating. Their denials are light, gentle, non-final. They offer clarity without closing the door. They laugh without rejecting the possibility. They explain the chemistry without dismissing the idea that something natural grew from it. It is almost as if both of them understand the magic of their pairing and don't want to tarnish it by over-explaining anything. Where things stand now is a space that is both open and guarded, a perfect balance that keeps the fandom alive. Woo-Seok is rapidly rising in popularity, navigating a new level of fame, and Hye-Yoon is blossoming into one of the industry's most beloved actresses, respected for her craft and adored for her authenticity. Their careers are unfolding at a pace that demands caution, but their dynamic continues to spark curiosity. They appear at events with the same warmth, react to each other's successes with natural pride, and speak about each other with a softness that has not dimmed since the drama ended. It is entirely possible that their relationship is simply a deep friendship built on trust, shared experience, and genuine affection, the kind of bond that forms when two people create something meaningful together. It is also possible that there are private feelings, unspoken connections, quiet moments that they prefer not to expose to a world that analyzes every breath they take. Both possibilities are equally beautiful, and neither requires confirmation to be appreciated. The truth, whatever it is, lies somewhere between what they show and what they protect, between what they say and what their eyes reveal, between the fiction they performed and the closeness that remained when the cameras turned away. What fans love is not just the idea of them dating, it is the authenticity of their connection. It is the rare comfort they share. It is the sense that even if they are not in a romantic relationship, they understand each other in a way that feels unusual, precious, and real. At the heart of this story are two actors who created a love that audiences believed in so deeply that it blurred the line between acting and emotion. And whether or not they ever confirm anything more, Byeon Woo-Seok and Kim Hye-Yoon have given fans something equally valuable, the feeling that for a moment, the screen wasn't just a screen. It was a window into something gentle and human and beautifully uncertain. Their story, or rather, their energy, lives in the spaces they leave for fans to interpret. In the lingering looks, in the shy smiles, in the teasing comments, in the careful answers, in the comfort of their laughter. It lives in the possibility, in the mystery, in the way two people can create a love story so convincing that the world keeps hoping it wasn't entirely fictional. And maybe that is the real reason the shipping refuses to die. It isn't built on scandal. It isn't built on paparazzi photos. It isn't built on secrets. It is built on chemistry so sincere that fans could feel it. It is built on trust, respect, and the soft kind of affection that doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. Whatever comes next, friendship, partnership, or something the world may never fully know, one thing remains certain. The connection between Byeon Woo-Seok and Kim Hye-Yoon has already carved out its place in K-drama history. And for fans around the world, That connection is more than enough to keep the hope alive, to keep the theories spinning, and to keep the story breathing long after the final episode. The fascination surrounding Byeon Woo-Seok and Kim Hye-Yoon did not end when the drama concluded. In many ways, it grew stronger. Something about them lingers, not like a rumor that fades with time, but like a story that never truly ended. Fans often say that some co-star pairings burn brightly and then disappear into separate schedules, new projects, and different worlds. But Woo-Seok and Hye-Yoon left behind a glow that hasn't dimmed, as if the universe of their drama kept echoing through their real lives long after the cameras were packed away. What makes their connection so magnetic is that it doesn't feel like a marketing moment or a temporary partnership. Instead, it feels like two people whose paths intersected at exactly the right time, forming an understanding that continues to follow them like a shadow they can't shake. There is a peculiar softness in the way Woo-Seok behaves whenever Hye-Yoon's name comes up. Even months after the drama, whenever journalists casually mention her, his entire expression shifts into something warm and fond, almost involuntarily. His voice lowers, his smile stretches just a bit more, and he often pauses before answering, as if measuring how much he should reveal. It's the kind of reaction that makes fans believe there is a story behind the scenes that he is gently protecting. And in the entertainment industry, where responses are often polished and predictable, his sincerity stands out like a small crack in a wall that was meant to be solid. For Hye-Yoon, her reactions carry a different kind of tenderness. She has an energy that feels grounded, honest, and slightly shy when it comes to personal matters, but whenever Woo-Seok is mentioned, she lights up with a spark that is impossible to hide. She laughs more easily. She speaks with a playful rhythm, and she often references small memories from filming, moments that she doesn't bring up with other co-stars. Fans have noticed she remembers details about him that most people would forget: a gesture he made on set, an expression he had during rehearsal, something he said about why a scene mattered. These details matter because they reveal where a person's attention rests, who they observe more closely than they need to, and whose presence lingers in their thoughts when the workday ends. Their chemistry became legendary not because of grand gestures, but because of the quiet moments that no one expected. There was a day on set, captured briefly in behind-the-scenes footage, where Hye-Yoon seemed cold. She rubbed her hands together softly, and without saying a word, Woo-Seok stepped closer, positioning himself to block the wind blowing at her. He didn't announce it. He didn't make a joke of it. He simply acted. She looked up at him with a small, grateful smile. One of those smiles that says more than a full conversation ever could. That clip spread across social media like wildfire, not because anything dramatic happened, but because the subtle tenderness between them felt unmistakably genuine. Another moment fans can't forget is when Woo-Seok practiced a scene alone, slightly frustrated, trying to get the emotion right. Hye-Yoon, who wasn't needed for rehearsal, quietly walked over and watched him. She didn't interrupt, didn't correct him, didn't tease. She simply observed him with a soft, encouraging presence. When he finally looked up at her, their eyes met with an emotion that somehow felt deeper than what the script required. She nodded once, just a simple nod, and he smiled, relieved. That exchange was so small, yet fans replayed it endlessly, convinced that a relationship built on such effortless understanding is rare, precious, and not easily forgotten. There is also the curious way they seem to gravitate toward each other even when surrounded by crowds. During press interviews with multiple cast members, they often ended up sitting beside each other, without any obvious coordination. Photographers noticed they tended to shift subtly closer during group photos. When one spoke, the other listened, not out of duty, but out of natural interest. These are not the behaviors of two people who are simply colleagues. These are the instincts of people who feel comfortable together, who respond to each other intuitively, who move in sync without realizing it. What fascinates fans the most is not whether Woo-Seok and Hye-Yoon are secretly dating. It's the possibility that their connection is deeper and more delicate than labels can capture. Maybe they are friends who became each other's safe space while navigating new levels of fame. Maybe they felt something gentle and unexpected during filming, something they weren't ready to confront. Maybe there were quiet moments, late-night conversations, shared vulnerabilities that bonded them in ways the world isn't meant to see. That uncertainty, that breath between what is and what could be, is where the magic of their story lies. Neither of them has tried to kill the rumors completely, which is unusual in an industry where celebrities often rush to clarify misunderstandings. Instead, they allow the fans' affection for the pairing to exist freely, neither confirming nor denying, as if they understand that something beautiful was created, not just between them, but between them and the audience. It feels almost as though they want to protect that energy rather than define it, as if naming it would make it smaller. And perhaps that is why the world remains so enchanted with them. The most compelling stories are the ones we cannot fully unravel. The ones with unanswered questions. The ones that leave just enough space for imagination. Woo-Seok and Hye-Yoon's connection lives in that space, a place where chemistry becomes possibility, where affection becomes rumor, and where silence becomes the language that reveals the most. In the end, whether their feelings were romantic, emotional, or simply the result of two artists meeting at the perfect moment, they have created a legacy that fans will revisit for years. Their partnership has become one of those rare K-drama pairings that people don't forget. Not because of scandals, not because of leaked photos, but because of authenticity. Because of the warmth that passed between them. Because of the story they told together, and the possibility that maybe, just maybe, something real flickered behind the scenes. And that, more than any confirmation, is what keeps fans captivated. Their story remains open, unfinished, quietly alive in the hearts of those who watched them fall in love on screen and wondered if, somewhere in the spaces between their smiles and silences, a part of that love lingered off-screen too.